And what seems to be the biggest non-news story of the day that everyone's losing their mind about, we've got Mr. Trump and the White House deciding to hold the next G7 summit at his Doral golf location in Florida. This is just an article by Fox News, but it comes from the press briefing by Mr. Mulvaney, which I will also link. I'm going to do two separate videos because there's two major things that come out of this. Obviously, his comments here, and then his comments on the Ukrainian investigation. Why couldn't I get that out of my head? After months of speculation, acting White House Chief of Staff Mr. Mick Mulvaney announced on Thursday that next year's G7 meeting will be held at President Trump's resort in Doral, Florida between the 10th and 12th of June. The decision to hold the G7 meeting at Trump's National Doral Golf Club has been bandied about for months. Since Trump made a pitch to have next year's summit at the resort during August G7 conference in France, and has created controversy amid the concern over ethics of a president personally profiting over official government event. And I'm going to skip a little bit of this, but basically the president, here's a quote: "The president has made it clear he does not profit from anything here." Mulvaney said during the briefing, "The resort is doing it at his cost, and it's much cheaper to do at Doral than any other sites that were being considered." If you look, I did. Where was it? The last one we held was actually a G8, and that was at Camp David. And apparently there were big issues there. It took Mr. Mulvaney said it took about an hour back and forth in bus rides just to get reporters back and forth. It was in the middle of nowhere. It was more expensive. This is Doral, Florida. If you don't know where that is, it's right by Miami. So there's a big airport there. It's very centrally located for people to get there, especially from Europe, which a lot of the people coming are from Europe, compared to somewhere on the other side of the states. Where I think he also said that they were considering somewhere in Colorado, which could have been a decent place, but he said there were concerns about healthcare because a lot of people were going to need breathing apparatuses. A lot of them are old, and a lot of them come from places not that high altitude, so there were concerns over that. And let me read this next section. "We use the same set of criteria that the other administrations used." He said it became apparent at the end of the process that Doral was far and away the best facility used for the host this conference. He added, "It's the best place." Mulvaney was also questioned about the optics of hosting the event at Doral would look, and any possible financial gains the president would get from the summit in light of presidential's unfounded claim that former vice president used his office to pressure government officials, and the firing top prosecutor, Mr. Victor Shokin, who was investigating a company where his son was on the board. The former vice president has acknowledged publicly that he pressured the Ukraine to fire Shokin, but denied it had any relation to his son's business dealings in the country. And this is just them trying to connect two different things, basically, the reporter. But he says it pretty well here. "Consider that that Donald Trump's brand is strong enough as it is and doesn't need help," he said. "The Trump family made their money before they went into politics." This was kind of a stab back at him that people like Joe Biden's family and the Clintons were not especially rich before they got in, although Hillary had some money, but they made the bulk of their money when they went into politics, and he's trying to connect it to this, that they're getting it from under the table stuff, and it's all dirty money that they shouldn't. They're getting favors from places like Ukraine, and what they're trying to say here is after he told them, "Hey, we're not making any profit off of this," that the Trump is fitting the bill for almost the whole thing. They're trying to connect it to, hey, this could be a marketing thing. But I mean, what other marketing does Trump need? He's already the president of the United States. What do you want? Like, you can't get any more marketing than that. Even if he doesn't, well, why does he need to hold it at his own location? And you're gonna say that's marketing? It doesn't make any sense. The location is irrelevant, and I think this was just a fine decision. It really doesn't matter. Like I said, I believe this is the biggest non-issue story of the day. That's why I'm kind of like brushing over. I'm just like, why does it matter? He's already the president of the United States. Anything that has his name on it is going to get a huge amount of press and marketing. It doesn't matter. Since assuming the office, the president has faced repeated pushback from a number of his aides regarding his official visits to property he owns in New Jersey and Florida. They're worried about the appearance that President Trump is using taxpayer dollars to turn a profit his own resorts. He's visiting his own places, like that he owns. Why wouldn't Trump isn't, if he owns all these golf courses, why would he go to other people's golf courses to play? Like, that's just bad business. I'm sure he's not turning a profit by going play at these places for himself. You can say maybe like he's gaining money when people see that he's doing it, but the fact is, you don't ever see Trump putting this out. Trump doesn't go at a news conference and say, "Look at my beautiful resort. Everybody come play here," unless he's going to have a meeting there or something. It's always these negative articles about Trump is going to his place in Scotland or whatever, and people are blasting that he's got his name on a new property, like, and you're just giving him the news. You're the one giving him the marketing. It's so dumb. Trump, who is not divested from his properties, spends many weekends at his resorts in either Florida or New Jersey, has regularly dined at his organization's restaurant in Washington, D.C. A Washington Post analysis found that the president's trips to properties have brought his business at least $1.6 million in revenue since he took office, mostly from federal officials and GOP campaigners who follow Trump. So you're saying this whole point of Trump going to these is just to bring other campaign managers and officials there so he could profit off of it. I'm not sure that these people wouldn't be going there anyway. These places were already open and these places were already successful. Why? That's just bad business if you on his part if you think that this is how he needs to profit. This is a real stretch. If Trump was already going to these places and already playing, so you could make the same assertion of like Obama and Bush, who went to places to play golf and hang out, or to Bush went to a lot of Rangers games. You're going to say because I think he's still a co-owner of the Rangers. I don't know if he still is, but he was for a while. That his whole presidency was to support he's profiting off of it because of that. It's so dumb. Bush went to Rangers games and brought officials and brought his staff, and because he part owned it later, that was the whole reason. Get out of here. I'm so done. I'm not even finished with this article. I'm just done with it. While the Constitution prohibits presidents from taking emoluments or payments from foreign states, Trump says that clause refers to a ban or outright bribes, not business transaction, and that he will continue to do business with foreign governments at his hotels. Mr. Mulvaney's announcement was immediately criticized, including the House Judiciary Chairman, Mr. Jerry Nader, who vowed to continue to investigate on the president's moves. And this was the bigger thing. I mean, look, everybody talks about wasting money with the government and all the crap they spend money on. And all of a sudden, we finally find something like just holding it here, and that's the problem. As soon as we find a way to save some money, and when Trump decides to pay the cost, that's the bad thing. Come on, man. And what do I got here? He was talking about when he got asked about the Judiciary Committee looking into it. He went ahead and took a stab at him and said, "Hey, don't they have bigger things to go after? They've been looking at this whole impeachment thing for about 12 to 18 months." He was like, for however long it is, and he was like, "Don't they have bigger things to look at besides this?" And it's a good point. Like, if somebody's wasted a bunch of money, it's them. They could be talking about tax policy and healthcare, other stuff like that. And he also said he looks forward to being a part of them if they would come about. So that's the whole article. I know that last part was a little jumbled, but I was just like, this is everybody's outraged, saying that Trump is trying to benefit from his presidency, and this is a conflict of interest, and it's a huge waste of time. Of all the things they can complain about, this is just a waste of time, man. That's how I feel on this topic. Let me know what you guys think below. Where else could we hold this that we don't spend a ton of money on, and Trump isn't going to be the headliner? No matter what happens in the United States at this G7, the name on the front of it is going to be Trump. Not necessarily where it's going to be, but everything's going to be about Trump. So Trump's branding is not some random company. Trump's branding is not Walmart. Trump's branding says Trump Hotels. And that's the way it is. All right. Thank you. My name is Gavin Lee, and this is my channel, LeeCast. Thanks for watching. I put out videos most days on current events, politics, and more. Please subscribe and give me advice on more of what you'd like to see, and help me build this channel into not only a source for all things political and current for you, but also a place less polarized by political insanity. A whole lot more common sense and discussion, and a lot less two-party bias. Subscribe below and comment on what you'd like to see. Thank you.